Hello everyone and welcome to my weekly poker video where I give an update on how I'm doing for the last week and in general how it's been going this year 2020, where I normally in the first part of my video I watch a poker hand and I commentate on it, and or I will talk about poker ideas, whatever I think about at the time. In this case, I'm going to talk about Doug Polk. Now, everyone in the poker community knows Doug Polk because he's been uploading poker videos for a while now. I didn't know about him till about 2 years ago, I guess, after he made all of his money playing online poker. I think his specialty was heads-up poker. Cash heads up. I do enjoy watching his videos a lot. He also started a channel, Doug Polk Crypto or something, after the Bitcoin boom. I also heard him talk that he made quite a bit of money investing in an online poker site, I believe, Bitcoin based, and then the Bitcoin went up and he made a bunch of money with that too. So Doug Polk, from what I sense about him, the things he says sometimes in his videos, is that I think he's in a pretty lost place right now. You see, when you do something for a long time and it becomes part of who you are, it becomes part of your fabric, your brain is literally mixing with it and it becomes part of your mold. Now, Doug Polk did something very smart, I believe, which is he quit poker. For the most part, I'm sure he's gonna play here and there sometimes, but he talks about finding something new to do. He mentioned once doing stand-up comedy, things like that. The thing is, and this is very sad to say, he might not find something that he's gonna really like and get into. His identity right now is completely immersed with poker. It's gonna be very hard to break free from that, not just as a social image, just him himself. But I didn't decide to make this video to talk about Doug Polk. I made this video to talk about an idea that Doug Polk talks about, and I agree with him 100%. So he often will play a hand on his screen, analyze it, and says in specific spot what's the right thing to do here. What's the correct play? Is it to call, to raise, to fold, and so on? And he talks about how when you have a situation where basically let's say a situation where you can either call or raise. Let's say you don't have a fold in your play. Whatever that situation is, I'm not gonna go look up a hand and do an analysis on it. But let's just take a situation where you can either call or raise. You're not folding. Doug Polk says you should do both. Obviously not in that specific spot, but in the long run you should mix it up. Sometimes you call, sometimes you raise. And then he talks about how he gets a lot of hard time from, I guess, in the commentary section, where people says you can't just say that, buddy. You either have to raise or to call. You can't just say you have to do both. Now, the reason it is extremely important to call sometimes and raise sometimes is because if you do the same thing over and over, you become very exploitable. Now, you might think, well, are the people keeping track of what you're doing in every single spot? Yes and no, and here's why. First of all, if you're playing live, it's much more difficult for people to keep track on you, unless you are playing on TV where they can go and watch all the hands you played, especially if your hands are known every time. But even if your hand is not known, even if you're not playing on TV, even if you're not playing online, you should still do all the options. Now, how often you do it, I don't think it matters as much, as long as you don't do one of them too much. So people are observing you, and sometimes the player you think is not that sharp is very, very sharp. People are deceptive by their very nature, and don't think you can figure people out like all the time. People are watching you just like you're watching them. They are taking mental notes on you. If you make a certain specific play with ace king one day on the first of the month, and then on the last of the month this one player happened to be sitting there and he remembers you made that exact situation with ace king, you might not be aware that he knows that, and then you make the play with ace king, and let's say he folds ace queen on the flop, let's say, or something like that, top pair, or whatever the situation may be, and then let's say you show your hand or whatever, which you shouldn't, or let's say the hand goes on showdown with someone else, and that player sees that you made that play with ace king again. Now he knows you make that play when you have, let's say, top pair, top kicker. So you have to mix it up a lot. You have to mix it up all the time. Whenever more than one play is correct, or at the very least is not wrong, you should make all these plays all of the time. And you do that anyway when you are playing. You don't always re-raise pocket nines, and you don't always call with pocket nines, and so on. Sometimes you fold pocket nines. But there are some situations where you should just straight up fold pocket nines if that's the correct play. And again, this specific thing is when more than one play is correct. To what degree it is correct, that's besides the point now. Doug Polk is absolutely right. If you don't do all of these things, as he puts it, I guess, then you are playing your hand wrong in the long run, and you are gonna become very, very, very exploitable. In the same way that you sometimes remember a hand for 100 years, a player you may have played one hand against, it's just stick in your head. People also remember, and don't think you are the only one with a sharp visual memory. Even people who are not naturally have solid memory, if they play poker for a long time, they develop those skills. Therefore, you have to make yourself as unpredictable as possible when you play poker. So this video is just to say that Doug Polk was absolutely right. Following this, I will show an update of how I believe this was week 7, how I did in week 7. So stick around if you care to know. Until next week, take care, bye-bye. So for week 7, on my main site, I played some cash games, and in that I won about $30. I played some double or nothing, and I won about $15 playing $5 double or nothing. And I played 43 tournaments, and I made the money 6 times. Overall, I was down $58.05. On my main site, on my secondary site, I played 27 tournaments. I made the money 12 times, and by today's money, because it's Bitcoin based, I'm up about $72. So overall, I was up about $15 for week 7. Not too bad after all. That would be all for now. Until next week, thank you for watching. Bye bye.